let's get started and let's see how this turns out. Oh, this is my timer. I'm never going to keep the time. I'm Greek. All right, so, well, first a little bit about myself. So now that I know you guys a bit better, originally I'm from Greece, but I grew up in Germany. So when I'm in the US, I typically tell people I have the best that Europe has to offer. Right? The two opposite ends of the cultural spectrum of Europe. So I grew up in Germany. I dropped out of high school when I was 17, 18 to start my first business, and ever since then, I've never had a real job. So I've been a serial entrepreneur. Another way of saying this is I'm completely unemployable, I have zero credentials, none of you would ever hire me for anything, right? And when people ask me, Steli, how did you decide to become an entrepreneur, and why you've been an entrepreneur your whole life? I go, lack of options. It's just as easy as that. All right, so that's a little bit about myself. Now, a bit about the company context, so you guys know why I know a thing or two about startups. So I'm just going to bore you with the latest stuff that I've done. So a few years ago, I started a company called Elastic Sales. And what Elastic Sales did is it helped companies in Silicon Valley, B2B startups in Silicon Valley, accelerate and scale their sales. So we built this massive sales team in the heart of Silicon Valley that was doing sales for over 200 different venture-backed startups. During that time, we learned a thing or two about the problems that startups have, the things that don't work, and how to build and scale a sales model that really gets you to accelerate your growth. From day one, as we started Elastic Sales, we built internal software to help our salespeople outperform other salespeople and to sell more effectively and more productively. And eventually that software got so good that we decided to release it. It's called Close.io. And it's a CRM that's focused on inside sales. So if you sell primarily through email and the phone, this is the best piece of software you'll ever find anywhere around the world. Enough of a pitch? All right, good. So today, this software is being used by thousands and thousands of companies all around the world. We're highly profitable, we're growing really, really fast, and we are the tiniest team in our market. Just to give you a sense, till recently we were just 8 people, now we are 16. But our nearest closest competitor is over 200 employees, and they make the same amount of revenue than us. Just to give you a sense of that. So, because of some of that stuff, people invite me to speak at conferences. Oh, before I forget this, we're hiring. Very good. All right. We are hiring in Slovenia from today on, right? So no, we're actually hiring anywhere around the world. So if you are an engineer, designer, anybody else that's awesome, let me know. Send me an email at steli@close.io or grab me at the conference, all right? We're hiring. That's my main message here. Okay, good. So moving on. So originally, the awesome organizer of this conference wanted me to talk about, and I need to look at this myself, the 80-20 principle of building a 7-figure SaaS business. Sounds pretty good, right? The problem with this is most of the things that I can share on how we build a multi-million-dollar business, you cannot replicate. There's a lot of shit that we did that was just pure luck, timing. It was like 20 years of experience that kind of just, we stumbled into this thing. It's going to be an inspirational story, and don't worry if anybody of you is sad about this. I've talked about the history of the company and how we scaled it many, many times as keynotes online. If you're like, your keynote about saying no sucked, I wanted this keynote, send me an email and I will send you a link and you can watch it privately at home. But today, I didn't want to inspire you people. And this is a general piece of advice about advice. You know, when people are 5, 10, 20 steps removed from where you are with your startup, all they can truly offer you is inspiration. They're so far removed from your problems, it's really hard for them to give you advice that's highly actionable. The people that you should seek out the most advice are people that are just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. We are here. The next year we want to accomplish this. Let's go find people that were where we are a year ago and accomplished what we want to accomplish. Let's talk to these people. And when you give advice, when I give advice, I always try to give advice to people that are just 1 or 2 steps behind me, because that advice is going to be most actionable. So, in order to give you something that's actually going to do something other than just entertain and inspire you, I want to talk about something most startups lack and why most startups fail, and that's focus. Now, focus is this nebulous term. What does it mean? We should have more focus. Focus is good. Let's focus more. Focus is such an overused term that's really hard to grab it and to do anything with it. So I thought about a practical application to get to focus. And one thing you can't do is you can't be focused if you don't know how to say no to things. So today my keynote is going to be somewhat negative. It's all going to be about saying no. And tomorrow it's going to be slightly more positive. It's all about saying yes. So all of you should return tomorrow. If you don't want to die a depressing, life because of this keynote. All right, so why do startups suck at saying no? People in general suck at saying no. Most humans live their entire lives designed around avoiding to say no and avoiding to receive a no from other people. Why? Why is it such a thing that we suck so much about? Well, there's a bunch of very, very simple reasons. First of all, when you say no, you might miss out on something, right? You might be wrong about saying no, so it's a decision that has consequences. Do you want to meet us at this conference? No. Well, that could be, you could miss out on the best conference or best keynote speaker of your life, right? But you could also just watch it at home later online if it was really that good. What about the consequences of confronting somebody? Hey, do you want to invest in our company? Hey, do you want to partner up with us? No, we don't want to do that. That's confrontational. What if the person that I say no to gets angry at me? What if they scream at me? What if they try to convince me I'm wrong? All this takes courage, so we try to avoid it and we just go, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'm totally excited about this. I'm gonna look into this ASAP, right? We just fucking avoid saying no to ourselves and others as much as we can. So let's go through this and we'll do a quick workshop to learn when and how to say no. I'll give you some practical examples. And if just one of you people or startups learn to be more disciplined about saying no to things and as a side effect, a direct impact, become more focused, your chances of success are going to dramatically increase. Because the best startups, the most successful entrepreneurs I know and I've met are hyper-focused. They are focused in a way that's very, very scary. And you cannot be focused if you say yes to everything. You can only be focused if you learn to say no. Embrace the no. It's scary. It means you have to prioritize. You have to make a decision. You can't just say yes to everything because then you're really saying yes to nothing. You have to learn to say no. So, when do you say no? Well, first, you have to learn to protect your time and protect your mental capacity to focus. So, distractions are a great place to start. Ask yourself, is this truly a distraction or is this truly going to move what we're trying to do forward? If it might be a distraction, say no to it. And I have examples. One of my favorite ones is, can I interrupt you? Well, motherfucker, you already did. But no, you can't. I'm trying to do something right now. I'm trying to accomplish something. It takes time to get into the zone and be productive. So I just need 3 minutes of your time. Really means 3 minutes means you get me out of this for 3 minutes, and then it might take me 3 hours to get back into the rhythm of doing what I wanted to do. So interruptions is one of the biggest costs to your productivity and focus ever. You need to say no to that. Anything that's broadening the scope. Oh, can you add this feature? Oh, can we add, we didn't plan to doing any PR, but we met this great PR person and she says we should do PR. Should we start doing PR? No. You have just a few things you can do. You can't do everything. And most of the time startups, what do? They keep adding more and more and more scope to everything they do. It makes you feel really, really busy, right? You're like, oh my God, we're so busy. We're running around. I'm doing PR in the morning, and then I write a blog post draft in the evening, and then I go for a coffee meeting with a potential investor, and then I go in and meet somebody that has another startup that has zero traction and no customers and no revenue, and then we talk about how we can work together. To then add the zero and make it 1,000, right? Make mathematical magic happen. And then I'm going to go in and meet this other person that might want to start his own startup so I can give him advice because I've been doing this for 3 months. And then I'm gonna go back to starting my Google AdWords campaign for $15.33 budget a month. I've never done any paid acquisition, and then after that, and it's the whole fucking day, you're like, oh my God, I'm so busy. It feels great, huh? Oh, and the late at night at 12, you're Snapchatting, designing a new logo. Oh, the startup life. All you're doing is jerking off all day long. That's all you do. I like you people. I didn't think jerking off would get an applause. All right, you're my kind of people. So, all this seems like you're fucking doing things, but the broader you go, the less you accomplish, and the slower you move things forward. There's magic in focus, because focus creates progress, and progress creates momentum. And momentum is the magic that makes things happen in the world. We only do one thing every day, all day fucking long. There's one nail, one hammer. We fucking hammer that motherfucker until we're blue in the face every fucking day. You do that for 365 days, you either are fucked or you are rocking and rolling. But that's scary, right? What about all these other awesome things we could be doing? Stop doing them. Don't look for fucking shortcuts and hacks. Oh, how can I do this magical one thing that then will be viral and it's gonna get a gazillion customers overnight? Yeah, sure. If that was something that exists, then everybody would fucking do that. It's such an appealing idea. I get it. I'd love to do that too. Just spend an hour and then lean back and then fucking money rains. But usually it's just bullshit. So don't waste any time on it. Say no to these ideas that are shortcuts and hacks. And say no to anything and everything that doesn't serve your core customer and user. That's it. Oh, but this will help us get funding. Who gives a shit? Is this good for our customers or users? Oh, but this will get us press in this magazine that is distributed amongst banks. Well, motherfucker, we have an app for 12-year-olds, right? That's like a panda playing game. Like, how is being in a banking magazine gonna help our core customers and users? Ask yourself, is this serving our core customers? If not, say no. How do you say it? You need to say it often. Just ask yourself, how often do I say no? If you can't remember the last time you said no, you're in fucking deep trouble. Especially if you're a startup. If you're like, we just say yes to everything. Well, congratulations, you're fucked. And I'm not saying this because I want to be negative. I just want to save you guys the years and years of pain I had to go through to learn these lessons. And it's a simple lesson, but it's emotionally taxing. It's difficult. It takes courage to say no. Don't underestimate this. This is such an obvious thing that people just don't hear it. It's like, what's the secret to losing weight? Eat broccoli and work out, motherfucker. Well, why are there a million books, a gazillion workout regimes? Why is this massive industry? Because I don't want to eat broccoli and work out. Your solution, although obvious, is not convenient to me, right? And that's the same thing with this no thing. You're going to hear that and go, all right, that makes sense. Hey, do you want to meet for a brainstorming session? Yeah. Should we go to this other conference as well? Oh, yeah. It's hard to say no. It's not difficult, it's just emotionally hard. You need to be more courageous if you want to get things done in life. You need focus. As a startup, you're so small, you don't have a lot of resources, so you need resourcefulness. Resourcefulness comes through focus because you do this one thing with more focus than anyone else on this planet, and you do it more because you value it more than anyone else on the planet, and then you crush it, all right? And then, when you say no, the tough part about it is now you have this fear. Am I missing out? Could this be a good thing? Now you second guess, and it eats up mental RAM. It eats up your energy and your capacity to think and to work productively because you're constantly second guessing. Should we do this? Should we do that? Was this a good idea? I said no, like Steli said, but maybe he's wrong. Who the fuck knows this guy? I didn't know him 30 minutes ago. Was this really a good idea to do? I don't know. And then you go, fuck it, let me say yes. Because yes feels safe. No takes courage. No is a clear decision. Yes, let's just say yes to everything. The problem with this is that As a startup, you're gonna have to make a lot of decisions, almost all your decisions with imperfect data. You're not gonna know if this is the right decision or not. Almost never. You have to live with it. You're gonna make some bad decisions. Sorry. You're gonna miss out on some stuff. Sorry. You have to embrace that. I had somebody send me a huge email about something I said no to, and it was like, did you know that this company 100 years ago said no to this one thing that's completely unrelated to you, and then it cost them $10 billion? Steli, you don't want to make the same mistake. I'm like, mother, the company is huge. Yeah, I want to make the same mistakes as them. I mean, it sucks. I don't want to make mistakes, but I also realize I can't avoid it. And the best, the trance, the illusion that you're not going to make mistakes is saying yes to everything. But then you're committing the biggest mistake there is, not doing anything really, for real. All right, let me give you some examples of things I want you to say no. We already talked about this. Can I quickly interrupt you? No. 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 Create a culture in your startup where you don't instantly and impulsively interrupt each other about any fucking thing you think in the moment. It took me an hour to get into the workflow of writing this blog post. You just finished the last line of code and you're like, let me fuck around for a minute. Oh, let me go to Facebook. Oh shit, this company lost this deal or got this funding. Let me turn around and interrupt everybody in what they do. Hey, Steli, did you know they just raised this amount of money? Who the fuck gives a shit? What we use as a company internally is chat. There's Slack, there's HipChat, there's many chat solutions. Just chat it to me and I will respond whenever I am not doing anything that requires focus. When you look at us, when we are all in the office, nobody talks other than lunch and dinner and when we're drunk, which happens usually at lunch and dinner. So we don't talk. And even if we communicate with each other, we do it through chat because we don't want to interrupt somebody if we don't know that it's a good time to interrupt. So no interruptions. Oh, can I have a coffee meeting? Can I have a lunch meeting? Let's book an hour meeting for an introduction call. No. You know what I've learned? First of all, I love coffee, but there's only so much coffee I can drink in a day. Committing to a coffee is much more than just the hour. You have to fucking go there. 5 minutes before you have to leave, you're like, well, I need to leave in 5 minutes, so let me fuck around now. Some people do that 30 minutes before they have to leave. And, then you have to fucking commute there, you have to buy your coffee, you sit down, you spend an hour, maybe a little longer, then you have to get back, then you need another, then you're like, oh, my next meeting is in 15 minutes, let me now fuck around some more till that meeting. And it costs you the entire afternoon, that one coffee meeting. No. If you need to meet with somebody, how about talking about the basics first in email? What's the context? What do we want to accomplish? What are the basic questions? We can go back and forth and educate each other that this is a meeting worth having. And then let's jump on a 15-minute call. All my calls are 15 minutes. You'd be surprised I accomplish everything I used to accomplish in 60 minutes. At some point I was like, let's just have 30-minute calls. I accomplished the same amount of shit in 30 minutes, and then I just went, let's fucking try 15 minutes. 15 minutes is plenty. Plenty. You don't need hour-long meetings. Business partnerships, I already alluded to this. This is my favorite thing startups do. This is one of the favorite things that startups do because it feels like work, but it isn't. You know how many partnerships people are telling me about that are basically one startup with no traction and another startup with no traction, me to talk about how to get traction by combining their zero traction. Oh, we're going to integrate with this other startup. It's going to be awesome. Why? Well, because they do something that kind of makes, if they accomplish what they want 10 years from now, and we accomplish what we have dreamed about 10 years from now, this is going to be a beautiful partnership. Well, then do it 10 years from now. Right? Why do it today? There's no, they have zero users, zero customers. They're just about to get out of business in 3 weeks. And you're going to spend the next 3 weeks integrating with their software. Is that really the best use of your time? I don't think so. Assholes with skills or money. One of my favorite people in the world to say no to. So, there's a lot of people that have something that is of value to you. It might be skills if it's a potential employer or somebody that potential employee, somebody that could work for your startup, or an advisor or an investor. These people have something that's attractive to you. And because that thing is attractive to you, you're willing to make compromises and not look at the fact that they're an asshole. To you, everybody's an asshole to somebody, right? I mean, that's another thing. Like, this is not generic. We all can get like, not every human will like every human on the planet. So there's just some people that don't click with you. If you feel like this person, I don't like this person, I don't want to hang out with this person, I don't trust this person, then say no to that person. Yeah, but their money would be nice. I guarantee you, their money is gonna fuck you. If somebody's an asshole, it doesn't matter how much money or how much skill they bring to the table, ultimately they will ruin you. They just will. They can't help it. You need to be strong. If you want to run a startup, you need to learn to be courageous. You look at somebody, you need money. You look at somebody with a pile of money, and then you look over at the person, and you think, that person is going to harm me. And then you zoom back to the money, and you go, let me forget about that thought. Let me focus on what's truly important here. The money. Don't do that. Say no. Say no. You might think that you're in this for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever your plan is, but you're really in this for life. It might be that you're going to do 10 startups. It might be that you're going to be running this startup forever. But the people in your life, the reputation you built, the emotions that you feel, they are for life. Life is too short to deal with assholes. Just say no. This is also a favorite kind of assholes. So, consultants and advisors, again, not saying all investors are bad, not saying all consultants and advisors are bad. There's some amazing ones among them, but there's a specific kind. If you're a startup and you're very inexperienced, and then there's a consultant or an advisor that proactively pitches himself to you and tells you that they're so amazing, they're in such great demand that they found the time to sell to you because you have no traction, no money, and then they want big equity or money from you, you should run. The type of consultants and advisors that you want, you can't get. It's a simple rule. It's a simple rule in life in general. When somebody is like, I want to give you all my time and attention, I want to work for you, I want to do something, my first reaction is, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because people that are amazing are in high demand. They're not answering your blog or your job post on Monster. They're in high fucking demand. So if somebody doesn't seem to be in demand, but they kind of say all the right things, they might be conning you. Be careful. Say no to these people. I say no to people all day long asking me to be an advisor, and I say no. I've written a blog post about this. I say, why don't we date each other for a while? Every time you have a problem, you send me an email, I give you some advice if I can, and over time, if our relationship really gets closer and closer and closer, all right, sure, give me some equity if you need to. But I don't need equity and advisory contract with you. I've talked to you for 5 minutes. I don't know you yet. I don't know if this is going to be a good relationship or not. All right, this is another one, bad fit customers. Well, our core audience is going to be small and medium-sized businesses, but this massive enterprise client told us they want to buy. Say no. Say no. No matter how much money they have, if they're not your core customer, say no. Oh, this massive enterprise said they don't want any changes in the product or anything else. Yes, they will. They will start changing your product. They will start changing your roadmap. They will start negotiating you to death towards the end of the trial or pilot. They will take up and suck up all your resources, all your energy, all your mind share. If you go into that business, you need to decide as a company that now enterprise clients are our core customer. And you can't do different types of customers on the side. Focus on one core audience and one core audience only. And here's a practical tip on that. A lot of companies and startups have a product roadmap. How about having an anti-roadmap? This is something we have. It's a list of things we will never build. It's good to have that. Because when people throw these ideas at you, at times you think they're a good idea, so it's good to look back at the anti-roadmap and say, no, dear customer, we're never going to build this. And here's why. And you revisit that once every half a year. You look at that and you go, is this still true? But it's good to have an anti-roadmap, things we will not do. Because it's very easy to get distracted and try to do more and more and more things. All right, so now is the official Greek part of my presentation because this is where my time has run out. I'm going to go really quickly through this, all right? You need to not just say no to others and yourself a lot, you have to elicit no from a lot of people if you want to be effective and successful as a startup. Do you hear no often enough? We talked about this a little bit. First of all, don't be an ass yourself, and when people tell you no, please appreciate the courage and honesty it took them to say no. Then don't instantly take it personal and defend the shit, but take a moment to listen and be curious and go, I wonder, why are you saying no? What is the thinking and reasoning behind it? Try to learn versus defend instantly. Marinate, deliberate, and then decide, is that no consequential? Do we need to change? Are we wrong or is this person wrong? Don't just believe everything anyone tells you. Just because somebody says no, it doesn't mean you have to change everything you think and do. It's actually very dangerous to do that. And at the end, just because somebody said no, it's not the end. It's the beginning of the relationship. Too many people, when you tell them no, you never hear from them again. There's a few people that when you tell them no, they keep at it. And eventually, they get the yes. So be one of those people. And then what to say yes to? It's very simple. It's just 3 simple things you should say yes to all day long, nothing else. Everything that serves your core customer and user. That's priority number 1. Priority number 2, as a business, you do 2 things. You build products or services, and you get distribution. You market and sell. This is the only 2 things you should care about all day long. What will get us a few more customers, a few more users? What will be an investment in the product that's going to make our product more valuable to these customers and users? And then you want to focus on 1 or 2 core, no bullshit metrics. What is the one number that if we look at it, it's a measurement for progress and momentum? And it's not the number that is the biggest possible number. It's usually the smallest possible number when you look at your metrics. All right, that's it. If somebody wants to hear more about this, I have a podcast with this handsome gentleman that He's actually started multiple 7- and 8-figure SaaS companies himself. Heaton Shaw, myself. It's called The Startup Chat. It's 2 episodes a week, 20 minutes each. You can listen to that or go on the website to get it. And episode 038, the 38th episode, was all about how to say no. So if somebody feels the need to hear more about this, this is where to go and get it. Did I mention we're hiring? All right, if you want to work for a guy like me, come and say hi or send us an email. And if you have questions, send an email to Steli at close hour, and I will tell you no, just to fuck with you. Thank you so much. Thank you.